"Sweetheart, the kids' table is over there," my aunt said, already turning away, her bracelet clinking like punctuation. "My name is Marlo Hayes. I'm 34. When did silence become something my family felt comfortable assigning me? The dining room smelled like honeyed ham and lilies that were wilting too fast. My sister sat centered at the adult table, sunlight catching the diamond on her finger the way attention always found her. Perfect posture. Perfect laugh. Perfect life, according to the running commentary circling the table like prayer. A paper bunny marked my place beside plastic cups and a juice box. The tablecloth here was thinner. The chairs smaller. A white linen napkin, my grandmother's, had been folded into a crude triangle, passed down to me like an afterthought. I smoothed it anyway. Habit. Across the room, praise rose and fell. Promotions. Houses. "So proud of you," said my mother twice to the same daughter. My phone vibrated against my thigh. Once. Then again. The chair beside me creaked as if it was waiting for me to speak. I didn't. I smiled. I chewed. I listened. And in that quiet, I understood something with unsettling clarity. They hadn't put me here because I was small. They put me here because they forgot to ask what I'd become. The buzzing didn't stop. It pulsed like a second heartbeat, impatient, precise. My grandmother noticed first. Her eyes, still sharp despite the tremor in her hands, flicked toward me. "Marlo," she said gently, tapping her glass, "is everything all right, dear? Your phone seems busy." Laughter followed. Polite. Dismissive. My sister didn't look over. She was mid-story, something about escrow and timing and how exhausting success could be. Someone squeezed her arm. Someone else refilled her wine. I dabbed my mouth with the thin napkin. The fabric was worn soft, almost translucent. "It's nothing," I said. Then paused. Silence stretches best when you let it. "Just my accountant." That earned a few amused glances. My uncle chuckled. "Tax season, huh?" "Yes," I said. My phone vibrated again. "He needs approval to cut off some money." The laughter came quicker this time, louder. Even my sister smiled now, indulgent, the way you smile at a child pretending to play business. She raised her glass without meeting my eyes. At the doorway the air shifted. Shoes on hardwood. A familiar cologne, too formal for Easter. Someone cleared their throat behind us. I didn't turn around. I already knew who had arrived and what he was about to say. "Good evening," the man said, voice clipped, professional. The room pivoted toward him like a single organism. "I apologize for interrupting a family gathering." My sister frowned, confused first, then annoyed. "Can we help you?" He held up a hand, calm. A leather folder rested against his chest like a shield. "I'm Thomas Reed, regional manager at Northline Bank." The laughter thinned. Chairs shifted. Someone muttered bank? Under their breath. He looked at me then. Not past me. Not over me. Directly. "Ms. Hayes, thank you for making time. I was told you'd be here." Every face turned. Foley. Forks paused midair. The silence had weight now. My sister laughed once, sharp. "This is about my accounts, isn't it?" She glanced around, embarrassed, already performing. "He's dramatic." Mr. Reed opened the folder. Paper whispered. "Per your standing authorization," he said, eyes still on me, "your sister's mortgage disbursement and business operating funds were frozen at 5:12 p.m. pending review." The word frozen landed badly. Glass clinked. A fork slipped and hit porcelain. My mother stood. "That's not funny." I folded the napkin again. "Meter this time." "It's not a joke," I said quietly. "It's a signature." My sister finally looked at me. Really looked. And something behind her eyes cracked. "What do you mean, your signature?" my sister asked too quickly. Her smile stayed on, but it trembled at the edges like cheap glass. Mr. Reed cleared his throat. "Ms. Hayes is listed as primary guarantor and majority stakeholder for both the property and the LLC. Any material change requires her approval." Pause. "Then, that can't be right," my father said. He laughed, the sound hollow. "Marlo works in, what was it? Consulting." I met his eyes. Held them. "Finance," I said. Quietly. The room felt smaller. Even the kids had stopped chewing. My sister pushed her chair back an inch. "You told me that was just temporary. A formality." Her voice dropped, sharp as a pin. You said I'd take over once things stabilized. I did, I said. They did. The chair beside me creaked again. Waiting. Mr. Reed continued, professional to the bone. We reached out earlier today regarding several inconsistencies. Given the risk exposure, Ms. Hayes instructed us to pause all outgoing funds. My mother's hand flew to her chest. You do this to your own sister? On Easter. I looked down at the napkin. A small tear had formed along the edge right where I'd been folding and refolding. You seated me at the kids' table, I said softly. I thought we were doing symbolism. My sister's breath hitched. For the first time, fear outweighed pride. Fix this, my sister whispered, leaning toward me now, her voice low and urgent. Not a request. A reflex. Around us, conversation tried and failed to restart. Plates scraped. Someone coughed. The lilies on the table had begun to shed petals, brown at the edges, collapsing inward like they'd heard the news too. Mr. Reed checked his watch. I'll step outside, he said kindly, which somehow made it worse. The door closed behind him with a soft, final click. My grandmother reached for my hand. Her skin was papery warm. Marlo, she said, not accusing. Just tired. Why didn't you tell us? I thought at the times I had. Emails unanswered. Calls rerouted. My achievements compressed into footnotes while my sister's plans were announced like weather. You never asked, I said. My sister stood abruptly. You can't do this, she hissed. Payroll clears Monday. Vendors. I know, I said. I've been covering them. Her mouth opened then closed. A dialogue decoy surfaced. My cousin murmuring to her husband, I thought Marlo moved away. Another voice, she always was private. Private. Invisible. Useful. The napkin finally tore in two. Cling. Quiet. My sister's eyes filled not with tears yet, but with calculation. Please, she said. And that was when I realized, she'd never needed me loud. She'd needed me silent. The word please hung between us, unfamiliar, poorly practiced. I stood and carried my plate to the sink. No rush. The house hummed, dishwasher breathing, a clock ticking too loud. When I turned back, everyone was watching me now. Even the kids. I didn't come to embarrass anyone, I said. I came to eat dinner. My sister followed me into the hallway, heels clicking like a countdown. She lowered her voice. You're enjoying this. I met her reflection in the mirror by the coat rack. The glass was old, warped at the edges. It bent her face just slightly, enough to show something truer underneath. No, I said. I'm finishing it. Her phone buzzed. Then buzzed again. She looked at the screen, color draining fast. A voicemail icon. A missed call from her partner. From payroll. From someone who mattered now. This is social suicide, she whispered. People will talk. They already do, I said. They just never used my name. Behind us, my mother hovered, unsure which daughter to claim. The mirror caught all three of us. For a moment I didn't recognize myself. Calm, centered, finally the right size. I picked up my coat. Mr. Reed will explain next steps, I said. I won't. My sister reached for my arm. Her touch was light. Desperate. I stepped away. The night air felt cleaner than the house. Cool, honest. I stood on the porch while voices inside rose and fell, muffled now like a show I'd already finished watching. My sister came out barefoot, coat forgotten. Marlo, she said, and this time my name sounded heavy in her mouth. If you walk away, everything collapses. I watched my breath fog then disappear. It already was, I said. I was just holding it up. Her shoulders slumped. The performance drained out of her. For a second she looked younger. Smaller. I didn't think it mattered who signed, she said. You never wanted credit. I wanted acknowledgement, I said. There's a difference. She nodded once. So. The porch light flickered. Somewhere inside, a glass shattered. Accident or anger, I couldn't tell. The napkin was still in my pocket, torn clean in two. I left it on the railing. A small flag of surrender or proof. I wasn't sure which. By the time I reached my car, my phone rang again. Mr. Reed. Monday logistics. Legal clarity. Clean lines. I didn't answer. Because for the first time, I wasn't managing anyone else's emergency. I was choosing silence. By Monday morning, the silence had done its work. I sat at my kitchen table, sunlight cutting clean lines across the floor. The house felt different, lighter, like it had exhaled after holding its breath too long. My phone lay face down. I let it. The voicemail came anyway. My sister's voice, stripped of polish. They won't extend credit. The partners are out. I didn't know it was all you. Pause. A swallow. I should have known. I deleted it. At 10, an email from Mr. Reed confirmed what I already felt in my bones. The company would restructure without my backing. The mortgage would be renegotiated without grace. Nothing illegal. Nothing dramatic. Just the quiet consequence of truth finally acknowledged. In the afternoon, my grandmother called. You did what you had to, she said. No apology. No praise. Just clarity. It was enough. I folded a fresh napkin and placed it in the drawer. Not torn. Not passed down. They still talk about that Easter. About the shock. The embarrassment. About how I changed. But I didn't change. I stopped being small for people who needed me invisible. And when they finally looked at me, really looked, I was already walking away, complete, unburdened, and finished.